with the Tina Romero.
Hello. So nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you so much for, sparing a few of your minutes. I know that you're very busy. We're about to be showing your film, Queens of the Dead.
So cool.
And you are also going to be receiving the Filmmaker of the Year award, which is incredible. And I understand that it's not just because of the work you do as a filmmaker, but also the generosity with your time and your resources that you have put out there for the horror community and the queer community. And I was just wondering if you had anything that you wanted to say, or how you're feeling about getting this award.
I'm so beyond touched and grateful to receive this award. There's nothing more special than the horror community.
Right.
It is a community full of people who not only love horror and horror film, but more importantly, it's a community of people that applauds one another, that comes around and shows up and encourages other filmmakers. And it's an in-person community as well. People are showing up here tonight to watch a movie together in the same room with other humans. And to me, that is the epitome of why we make movies. And it was really what I wanted to do with Queens of the Dead. I really wanted to make the type of film that people could come together and watch in a theater and have a good time and just connect with other humans, because it's something in these crazy ass times, it feels like humanity is slipping through our fingertips, and the horror community really gives me hope because of the way that it's encouraging and supportive and inclusive, and I feel so embraced by the horror community. And I was very nervous to put out this film because definitely because I am my dad's kid, big shoes to fill, a very beloved sandbox that I'm playing in, and I'm so not him. I'm so different from him, and there's fear in there, but there's also pride in there too. And I'm very proud of this little weird wacky zombie film I made, and I'm so grateful that Buried Alive has embraced it and has embraced me and is honoring me with this award. It's unbelievable. And on behalf of the entire team that made this film, because this film really was a community effort. Of course. It takes a village, and the film on screen is about the queer community coming together to survive something crazy, and that is very much the case behind the scenes too. The queens behind camera were just some of the most brilliant, hardworking people I've ever met, and I'm so lucky to have gotten to make this film with them. And so it's really an honor for all of us, and I'm so grateful.
Well, I know the festival is very honored that you're here, so.
Oh, it's been a blast. This festival rocks.
It does.
Oh my God, I had some weird dreams last night. After we had the most incredible writers panel discussion. It was such a good group of brilliant people who, it was such an intimate, smart conversation that I found very inspiring. And then I watched the body horror block and went home and had crazy dreams. Yeah.
Well, that's part of the fun of it, right?
Yeah.
It's the aftermath.
Yeah.
So if a local drag artist wanted to portray one of the characters in your movie, which one would you, I guess, most want to see emulated?
Oh, that's so fun. What a fun question. I gotta go with Zombie Queen.
Oh yeah,
our hero zombie, played by Miss Julie J. She's the first zombie we get to meet in this film. Well, not technically, but she's our cover girl zombie, and what's better than a zombie trying to walk in heels?
Right. So if that happened, what would be the best song for her to lip sync to?
Oh, okay. Let's see. It's gonna be a toss-up. The first choice has got to be Kesha Blow, because that's also the anthem of our movie, which just feels so right and so spiritually right. But then there's also my favorite Bizarre Inc. song, "Why Waste Your Time? You Know You're Gonna Be Mine." That's another good one. I always want to see Wrecking Ball by Miley Cyrus.
Love it. So I think you kind of actually answered one of my next questions, which is, why are the zombies slow? But I guess if they're walking in heels, then...
Oh. Well, more importantly, I can't be a Romero without having slow zombies. My dad was a staunch believer in zombies do not run. And it was 100% utmost important to me to keep the mythology of his monster Romero. So they, slow. One, you got to take out the brain to take out the monster. One bite turns you. And then, this other piece that I think is important about his zombies is that they're a little bit sympathetic and a little bit silly. And I think, for me personally, I think zombies are the most fun when they're a little silly. And so I wanted to preserve all of those things. And then I added one little piece to the mythology, which is that they're still responding to their devices, because I think he would have approved of that. We saw Bub pick up those headphones and respond to the music. I think that he set the groundwork for phone zombies, which we kind of already are.
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of horror films would say that zombie movies have some underlying societal commentary to them, whether or not it's intentional. What would be the underlying commentary that you're trying to make with Queens of the Dead?
Well, first and foremost, it's I think the loudest memo is get off your phone. For me, that was actually where I started. Again, as my dad's kid, I knew that I needed to say some shit with this film. If I was going to continue in the Romero zombie universe, first and foremost, we had to say something. And so I actually started with my whiteboard of like, okay, what are the thematic, what is the tapestry of dark shit in the world that I want to address? Because one thing I loved about his films is that he never gave a scientific answer for why the dead are rising. It was not, he's not a rabid monkey bite, it's not a tainted vial, it's more of a collective human suffering, a dark hole in all of humanity. When there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth. So I started with the whiteboard of like, okay, what is contributing to the dark hole amongst humans? And I had on there phones, and device addiction was like my biggest thing. And then social media and how that wedges us apart. Too much information in a crisis, the way that we are suffering from loneliness, even though we're more connected than ever. And then I threw in some other things that I felt was important to address within the queer community, such as like infighting. Just because we are in the age of pronoun expansion and identity is becoming more of an open-ended thing, it doesn't mean that all gays know how to party together all the time. Right. And sometimes the gay boys and the gay girls do not get along. And there's also intense ageism in the community, even though intergenerational hanging is so important. So I wanted to look at those dynamics within the community and how sometimes the queer community kind of like can devour its own in ways that do not serve us. And then the opioid epidemic, something that has touched the lives of so many people that I know. Drug use in the community is pretty rampant, and addiction and, drugs, selling drugs as a lifestyle hustle, like drugs was also something that I wanted to include in here without suggesting that the drugs are why the dead are rising. It's just part of the greater problem. And so I wanted to make sure to touch upon all of these things. And so once I had that, then I kind of got into now how do I deliver the spinach in a way that feels more like a lollipop? How do we make it fun? How do we make it a ride? How do we make it colorful? And how do we make it pop? Because I knew I didn't want to make a bleak and desaturated, sad zombie film. If I was going to do it in the queer community, I needed to find a way to make it fab. And I needed the zombies to be fab too. And I needed to figure out how to make them sparkle and, like these zombies they're dying on Saturday night in Bushwick. They're in there like going out to the club looks. I wanted to make sure to push it aesthetically, like how the zombies appear.
I love that. One final question, because I know you're very, very busy, but would you consider Queens of the Dead a musical?
Oh my goodness. That's a great question. I love that question so much. I think it's adjacent to a musical. Okay. I think it would make a great musical. In fact, that's sort of like, sometimes I find myself at night thinking like, God, this would really work on stage, and how fun would it be to actually turn this into a musical. But I do think music plays a huge role in this film, and I knew going into it that I wanted to just like music the whole way through. It was very important to me, and I'm obsessed with what my composers Blitz Berlin did. They really knew how to give me all the things I wanted. They gave me the synthy undertones, that nostalgic 80s analog synth thing, to give me vibes and emotions, and then they also were able to give me the beats to take it to the club, because I knew I needed the music to be banging throughout much of this, because it's a club movie. It takes place in the nightlife.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really excited to be able to watch the screening of it here in a few
Yes.
minutes, and I really, really appreciate your time, Tina.
My
this
pleasure.
Is so wonderful.
Oh, it's great to talk to you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks. Homespun Haints is hosted by Becky Kielimnik and Diana Doty, and produced by Homespun Haints Media LLC. Editing and music by Becky Kielimnik. Show notes by Diana Doty. If you have a ghost story and you'd like to be considered as a guest for this podcast, please visit our website at homespunhaints.com/submit.